was mentioning that the challenge which in any sizing it happens is that whether you should do it for base load, peak load, and what should be the equipment sizing. Yes, the conventional sizing philosophy had been on sizing the equipment for peak load. And being on the energy side, and my entire experience has been on the utility side of supplying either heat or power to the requirement. So in this case, the cooling requirement which comes in is again being driven either from power or it can be steam-based thing for this particular application. And what can be done is that maybe the data, my thought process as I was hearing out both Swapnil and Srinivas is that how AI can help in optimizing the capacity building for the cooling requirements for data centers. Herein, it can be thought that the data centers of the other plants, if you're trying to put up a new plant for a particular location X, maybe the analytics can be studied across the data centers which have already been established, and how is the energy demand reflected over a 24-hour cycle or over an entire 365-day cycle. This can help in analyzing the requirement of the peak load and the what is the variation in the load, and accordingly design the capacity. This is one aspect. The conventional aspect of cooling had been is that you size it for peak load, and then the return air temperature coming from the data center will help to regulate the utility side, either steam or power, so that the one of the chillers can then go on and off. But you end up giving higher capacity. The other aspect what Srinivas was mentioning is to go an area-wise sensor. Yes, that will also help. That will help in also building very micro level controls, and which will help in preempting the sudden on and off, and knowing the upfront, knowing the cycle of the demand for cooling or for power, and then you scale up the generation of power or steam so that you can meet the demand before it actually generates. So you can optimize that solution also. Such solutions have been implemented in boiler applications, that is for the power requirement or the steam requirement. So that is being done. Same thing can be implemented here. This is what is my thought process of how AI can help in here. And one more point which I wanted to say is that, see, every equipment has a best operating zone, be it chiller, be it boiler, which is giving steam, or a power plant where some turbine or a captive gas turbine is been installed near the data center. So the demand of the particular data center, which is, we can study how is the demand pattern and then implement that for sizing here. So that can also be used here. So this is what my takeaways and my thought process as I heard the panelists saying. So 3 points: maybe the data center which has been installed in our country somewhere, study that load pattern and then try to implement into the sizing of the equipments, and then go one step further, how we can accommodate the individual equipments, trying to arrange the capacity such that each of the modules work at that best operating point. So then the configuration of the cooling or the power can be met accordingly. So this is my thought process.